guys, welcome back. Dating coach Hayley Quinn here, and in this final video from the series about getting past your blocks and getting more attention from women, we're going to be looking at meeting women online. If you watch the video that I did about getting past your mental blocks and meeting more women in real life, the video before this, you are going to notice some parallels in terms of how I'm teaching and what I'm talking about in this video to the one before. If you haven't checked it out yet, I would highly recommend, and I'll put the link in the bio. Okay, so when it comes to meeting women online, again, we really want to focus on to get you to a space where you've got more abundance. You're not relying on being chosen by women. You are doing the choosing. You are the selector. You are feeling confident about yourself. Again, you have to be proactive. We have to prepare you to be an initiator. If you are just liking women's pictures on Instagram or liking their profile pictures on an app, and you're not sending out high quality messages to the women that you want to meet, again, you're probably just not getting on her radar. She doesn't even know you exist to like you. So don't be a fan and hold in the background with likes and winks. Instead, remember, you're going to be the initiator. You're going to be comfortable to be proactive. You're also going to, even with your first message, do things which demonstrate that you're not just bombarding any old woman, but that you're selecting women to approach who meet some of your criteria, which is why it's so important to do things like, one, never ask a woman out on the first message that you send her, because this suggests that she doesn't have to make any contribution to the interaction for you to want to go on a date with her. It's like, she's got nice pictures, you're done. That's not good enough. You need to show that you have higher standards for yourself as a guy. So you need to be comfortable with being more proactive and demonstrating those standards. Secondly, when it comes to asking her out, you don't want to ask a woman out if she's just responding lol or sending you gifts or taking ages to get back to you. Yes, you're going to be proactive, but you also have to look out for how she's contributing. It's that word again. Is she making an effort to get to know you? Is she giving you really open responses? Is she also trying to impress you? Then she's probably standing a better chance of meeting your standards for you to want to go on a date with her. Likewise, even on the very first message you send to her, you want to send a message that's individual. If you send a message that says something like, hey, how are you? Or hey, how's your weekend going? Whilst, you might be tired, you might not be bothered with online dating right now, those messages or cut and paste messages are never going to do you any good, because they don't show that you've specifically chosen her for something that she's done. Again, a great way to start communicating that you are a selector and that you have standards right off the bat is to start to show women that you are choosing them for something that she's done. So even if you can look through her profile pictures and make a comment on those, or send her a first message like, it's great that you're into yoga, but curious if you'd be up for some rock climbing as well. Simple things like that can create a challenge for her. If you look at the link below this video, I will also put in there a link to videos that are specifically about what first messages that you should send to women. If you're a long-time subscriber of my channel, you will know we do a lot of videos on this. So if this is something you're not clear about at the moment and you want really specific and detailed advice on what messages to send, please check the links below the video. In order to meet women online as well successfully, just like how I dare I say it, was advising you to not wear logo t-shirts and think about your personal style and presentation, like this dashing man in the PowerPoint photo here. You also want to make sure you've got some of your profile basics right. Simple exercises that you can do here again. First of all, read your profile out loud. Question one, does it make sense? If it isn't immediately clear what you mean, make sure your profile has clarity. Secondly, is it written in a fun and personable tone that she could read that profile and think, wow, this would be a really fun guy for me to hang out with. He sounds really switched on. If your profile is currently sounding a little bit too much like your LinkedIn profile, that's what you need to change. It needs to have this conversational tone. Usually the litmus test for that is when you read it out loud, does it sound good and does it sound personal, or does it sound too formal and too generic? Then I also want you to think about your photos. Women tend to be, dare I be sexist here, a little bit more ahead of the game in terms of their profile pictures. You want to present yourself really well in your pictures, because the fact you understand what qualifies as a good picture and you have good photos of yourself is again a subtle way you communicate that you're kind of on her level and that you are operating in the same broad social group. So make sure you get your photo game together. And I know this is hard. You have no idea how many guys I coach and they just say, well, Hayley, I just like don't have any photos of myself. I'm just not a photo person. um, I understand that, but for the purposes of online dating, we're going to have to get you some good photos. This could be that's something you get with your camera on a timer, using a tripod, maybe a light ring. It could be that you rope in a friend. But when it comes to creating good photos, we really want to build these from the ground up. When I'm coaching people, we start by looking, for instance, at their personal style. So look at the outfits that you're wearing in your photos. Are you wearing what you'd wear on a date? Do you look fashionable, modern, current, well presented? If not, we want to address that first. Secondly, how's your body language in your photos? Do you look comfortable and do you look relaxed? Like if we check out this picture of this guy on the PowerPoint, you'll notice a few things about him. First of all, he's got really nice asymmetrical body language. That means the two halves of his body don't match. That often makes him look, that will make you look more relaxed. So asymmetrical body language is great for photos. He's smiling, so looks nice and approachable. His body language is relatively open. There's, and even though you can't see him particularly well, at least he's not hiding behind sunglasses and a big hat. So we want to have good personal style, good body language in your photos. Then we want your photos to be nice and high resolution. So new photos with, not ones that are all pixelated and grainy. Um, with your photos as well, you want to be clearly visible. So as I said, no sunglasses, no hats, no tiny picture of you next to a massive pyramid. The main thing is that she can look at your profile and go, okay, I can really see clearly what this guy looks like. And he looks to an extent approachable as well. So another good thing about the photo on the PowerPoint here is this guy smiling. For some of you out there, working a slightly more mysterious and artistic angle might work for you. Some of you might work well with having a more brooding profile, but for the majority of you, looking approachable, smiling, and relaxed will again communicate the right qualities on your profile. So we really want your profile to be well put together for you to think if all the photos work together as a set. Now, I've gone through this at whistle stop speed in this video, but I've got tons of videos that give you much more detailed advice on things like body language in your photos, what to write in your profile. So head over to my channel and there'll be so many more videos on there. And finally, we need to make sure that you've got a good messaging strategy. So you'll notice probably a lot of the time, even if you get a match, that you might message once or twice and she seems really keen, and then by the end of the week, honestly, you're getting tumbleweeds and she stopped responding. So it's like, what is happening here? Why are those matches not converting into more dates? Well, the good news is, again, this doesn't mean there's something horribly wrong with you or what you're doing. It could just be the case that you haven't got a solid strategy for your messages and you're missing opportunities to ask her out at the right time. So a huge thing that can happen with online dating is that people generally, men and women alike, can find it a little bit, they can find themselves getting demotivated by the process of it. This can mean that leads, and by leads I mean like matches and potential dates, can tend to atrophize, like the muscles. Not very good at pronouncing that word. Um, so instead, we of course, when you get a lead, if you get a match with someone that you're interested in, who you think looks nice, who sent you a pretty good response to your message, you really want to capitalize on that. So you've got to respect the law of momentum. This basically means that if it's going to happen, it will probably happen quite quickly. If interactions drag on for weeks, they will fizzle out. So if she sends you a really good message back where she's being really open and she's making an effort and she's contributing to the conversation, you should just be like, boom, this is a big tick in the box here for me, because I can see she's also, at least right now, seems to be in the right headspace to meet someone. So I'm going to double down and capitalize on this. So often it can be really worthwhile, if at all possible, taking 20 minutes out of your evening to chat back and forth there and then, and try to get to the point where you swap numbers or have agreed a date, or that you can do a video call in the app, rather than letting that lead fizzle out. um, Simple stuff like leaving notifications on for your app, just pausing that Netflix show and just giving yourself time to respond, can also mean that you start to just turn more of these potential leads into solid dates in real life, which is, of course, what we want. Um, but before you ask her out, I also want you to make sure that as I mentioned in my previous section, that some of those checks and balances have got underway before you ask her out. So just like in the previous video when I was speaking about in real life interactions, the purpose of approaching a woman in real life isn't to think, how do I get her phone number? How do I get her on a date? It's actually, your intention there is you're going to create an opportunity for yourself. And if and only if you connect and she invests and makes a contribution to the interaction, would you consider to ask her out? And it's the same online. If she is being pretty non responsive, only answering with a very short sentence, not making any effort, um, just putting a meme or a GIF, that should be your filter where she's not meeting your standards. So instead of falling into the trap of thinking, she's really attractive, there must be loads of guys who want to meet her, how do I perform better? How do I entertain her more? What's a witty message that can get her interest back? The better mindset I think to have around this is just to be like, for whatever her reasons, she's just not that invested in the interaction. It's actually not all my job and my responsibility to make this work for her. I need her to take a step towards me as well. If she's not doing that, I'm just going to lose interest. So that will feel scary, because you'll be like, Hayley, I do not have enough options to lose interest in some of those options. However, this is about you cultivating a much more high value, self esteem boosting mindset around dating. And you know what? If you chase around after a woman who is not contributing, is just not that interested, you are not going to make her more attracted to you. Arguably, the most attractive thing you could actually do is to walk away and to lose interest, because she hasn't met your standards. So always make sure before you even think about asking her out that she's had a chance to really contribute to the interaction. If she hasn't, then a kind of learn here is to look at your own communication skills and messaging strategy, and to think, if you the where your responsibility is to really think if you've done a good enough job of trying to generate interesting and fun conversation. Have you made it easy for her to respond to you? Have you written to her in a way that's unique, or have you drifted into small talk? So as long as you're bringing it in terms of being unique and playful in your messages, if she's not able to match that, let it go. So if we don't, what can happen is she can almost sense this mismatch in interest levels, and that will ultimately switch her off. So remember, if she's not really stepping up and she's not making an effort, you got to let it go, because you only have limited time, motivation, and energy. And I really want you to be using that purposefully towards the women who are most open and most receptive to your advances. Now, of course, it is good though to keep being proactive, because if you let messages slip by, you forget about them, you're not very responsive, you take ages to ask her out, maybe you don't ask her out at all, or you only ask her out in a way that's very indirect. Women can often confuse some hesitancy on your part as, he's just not that into me, rather than he's afraid, or he doesn't want to get rejected, or he wants to make sure he's got the perfect moment to ask me out. That might not be the first conclusion she comes to. She may think either you're just not that into her, or that you just do not have the confidence to interact with her in the way that she would like. And either way, this isn't going to do much to generate that attraction on her behalf. So remember, a lot of the attraction she's going to experience is going to come down to your behavior. It's going to come down to you feeling more comfortable being an initiator. And hopefully, some of the strategies that I've given you during this 3-part mini webinar series will help you to move past your limitations and become more of an initiator in your dating life. I so want that for you. I want women to realize that you're there and you're amazing. So please think about how you're getting in the way of yourself from getting what you want. If you want to do a deeper dive on this, and learn more from me, join in more webinars, head over to hayleyquinn.com/unite. The link is below this video. And there's a place where you can join in our community. And if you love this video, I'd appreciate liking, sharing, and of course, head over to my channel to check out all the other coaching videos that I've done. And hopefully, this will help you to get started. Anyway, sending lots of virtual high fives. I'll see you again in another video soon.